All right, back with Max Kellerman. You believe that Vitaly Klitschko is a different man in recent years, and what do you think the primary reason is?
Well, he quit against Chris Bird when he fought him over in Germany, and the European fight fan demands much less of their fighter than American fight fans. We truly expect our fighters to fight to the death, to risk their lives. The Europeans seem to think it's just a sport. Maybe they're right. We misinterpreted Klitschko's quitting in this country as his not having the heart to continue. In fact, once it was demanded of him by the American media and his pride was stung, he showed against Lennox Lewis and Corey Sanders he has all the heart in the world.
So that's a little bit more than a month from now. Klitschko-Rahman. Let's get to the business at hand for tonight. There are two schools of thought about tonight's fight. Theory one. After losing by knockout to both Antoniio Tarver and Glenn Johnson, the great Roy Jones is finished as a viable contender. But the contrarians say Jones is refreshed after his year-long layoff, and reuniting with his father as trainer has brought Jones some much-needed edge and purpose. Obviously, the fighters have their own points of view. Tonight, Antoniio Tarver and Roy Jones conclude boxing's latest trilogy. It started November 8, 2003, when boxing's pound-for-pound king, who had won a heavyweight belt earlier that year, faced Antoniio Tarver to settle undisputed rulership of the light heavyweight divisions.
Antoniio Tarver has gotten off to a very confident start. I outboxed him, I outpunched him, I dictated the pace.
Look at Tarver banging away with the left hand. Fight is beginning to come into Jones's wheelhouse.
I feel like I fought off pure heart that night.
What a performance now by Jones, reaching deep.
A close, disputed decision was awarded to Jones, but Tarver's performance captured the audience, leaving Roy feeling he had something left to prove. It was the perfect...
Okay, when he's backing you up, stay low.
Using that word respect. The second round, I came out more aggressive.
And down goes Jones on a hard left.
Tarver Jones 3 is next. So it's finally time for our main event. Antoniio Tarver against Roy Jones. A lot of drama and many questions to be answered just moments from now. Tarver versus Jones 3 is being brought to you by HBO Pay-Per-View. The best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. And a special announcement from the American Red Cross. To help victims of Hurricane Katrina, call 1-800-HELP-NOW or log on to redcross.org. Well, it would appear that Antoniio Tarver has a lot going for him tonight. A previous knockout win over Roy Jones, then an active 12 months with 2 fights against Glenn Johnson, one a loss, but the other a decisive victory in June. On the other hand, Roy Jones has not fought since his devastating knockout loss at the hands of Glenn Johnson in September of '04. Roy says he's now motivated.
Tarver's light heavyweight champion for a reason. He's an excellent overall fighter. Our own Emmanuel Stewart mentioned in the pre-fight show to Tarver to this fight that sometimes when a fighter's knocked out in consecutive fights, he forever after reacts badly to punches. I'd call it concussed fighter syndrome. And I mentioned a fight earlier, Meldrick Taylor, Julio Cesar Chavez, the rematch. Emmanuel Stewart worked Chavez's corner. Taylor looked excellent for 3 or 4 rounds, bouncing around, landing combinations, not getting hit. The first time Chavez hit him, he unraveled. I expect the same here tonight.
Is Tarver in Roy Jones' head?
He might go upside his head, Bob. That's more my fear. It's very difficult to see a fighter as someone who isn't pretty.
But he didn't wind up on his tail.
Different sport.
Give me the scenario by which, although you believe Tarver is going to be the winner tonight, give me the plausible scenario for a Jones victory.
Roy is able to keep the fight in the middle of the ring. His legs are strong enough and have enough bounce to do so. And his hand speed overwhelms Tarver and keeps Tarver on the defensive for 12 rounds. Roy is also a puncher. And if, just like Tarver caught him in the second fight, Roy can catch Antonio.
As we mentioned earlier tonight, this is Tarver's hometown now, Tampa. But the crowd clearly, although there are many Tarver supporters, the crowd basically is a Roy Jones crowd tonight.
Michael Jordan again. I mean, when someone makes the kind of impression on their contemporary audience that Roy Jones made, that Michael Jordan made, they become the sentimental favorites sometimes, even in the other team or fighter's hometown.
Okay, it's time. We've been looking forward to it, and here it is. Let's go ringside to Jim, to Larry, and Emmanuel.
All right, thank you very much, Bob and Max. It's a packed house. There is not an empty seat anywhere visible in the arena. In the entire history of the state of Florida, this may be the fight which has generated the most attention, the most excitement since perhaps Cassius Clay against Sonny Liston, February 25, 1964 in Miami Beach. Larry Merchant, Roy Jones has been in a lot of big fights. What's different about this one?
This one's psychodrama. Within the drama of a dethroned king trying to recapture his aura. Roy Jones, who has explained his extreme caution by constantly referring, does he need that aura back? He has even reunited with his father, whom he has called abusive to him as a child. And Antoniio Tarver, his childhood rival and adult tormentor, takes credit for all of it. He says that he is so pleased to reunite the Jones family. I hope the fight is that good.
Well, and Tarver's surely confident that at the end of the evening, he'll have the last laugh and the last few lines as well. However, Emmanuel, and the point has been made several times in several ways, Tarver dominated Jones through much of the first fight, didn't get the decision, knocked him out in the second fight, and yet in this arena, among this crowd, it's clear Jones is still the bigger star. Could that create a resentment or an anxiety for Antonio that might make him too anxious in the fight?
It could happen. Antoniio Tarver is a very, very unusual guy. He's the type of a guy that I believe could go to Pensacola, to Roy Jones's own yard with his fighting dogs, chicken, his whole family out there, his rapper buddies and all of them, and actually badmouth Roy and would fight him by himself and not have anybody with him. That's how much confidence Antoniio Tarver has. He's an unusual guy. But I think in the beginning, Roy's blazing speed, especially being motivated by this crowd, which is definitely a Roy Jones crowd, is going to be a problem for him early in the fight. He's going to have some problems early.
All right. Well, as we mentioned, it's the third fight of this professional trilogy between Jones and Tarver. It's really their fourth fight. They first met fighting as 13-year-olds against each other in the Sunshine State Games. Now, 22 years later, the story is about to come to an end. Tale of the tape for Antoniio Tarver defending the light heavyweight championship against former light heavyweight champion Roy Jones. They are identical in age. Tarver 3 inches taller with a 1.5-inch arm length advantage measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Tarver weighed in right at the light heavyweight limit of 175. Jones, Harold Letterman.
The Antoniio Tarver Roy Jones Jr. fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no three knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight in case it cut it.
For the first time in the trilogy, and an extreme rarity in his career, Roy Jones walks to the ring first.
Remember when Roy Jones used to rap down the runway singing "You All Forgot," meaning we all forgot, but they also remember those 2 knockouts.
Jones can only be described as pure ecstasy. All of his big wins in recent years by decision. Both of the losses by knockout. as the crowd has cheered for Jones, many will now boo Antoniio Tarver.
Antoniio Tarver really hasn't been given enough credit for turning his career around from an underachiever to an achiever, from a fighter who might have been remembered for what might have...
Late bloomer, partially because after being disappointed at not making the Olympic team in 1992, he waited around 4 more years didn't turn professional until his mid-20s. He has emerged within the last 3 years as one of the big stars of the sport. He can beat you by knockout. He can win a decision attacking. He can win a decision counterpunching. He has a lot of advantages. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer now for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the St. Pete Times for the 3rd and final chapter in their boxing trilogy. 12 rounds of boxing for the universally recognized, in association with HBO pay-per-view and the American Red Cross Hurricane Relief Fund. Sanctioned by the International Boxing Vice Chairman Don Bowen, Commissioners Barbara Auger, Alvin Enton, and Dr. Donald Perry, Executive Director Jason Penley. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Adam Brunson and Dr. Rodolfo Eichberg. Timekeeper at the bell, Phyllis Gary. Counting for the knockdowns, Frank Gentile. The 3 judges at ringside. Score. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, official weight, 173 pounds. Since his silver medal in 1988, his record as a professional, 49 victories, including 38 knockouts with only 3 defeats. From Pensacola, Florida, former middleweight world champion, former super middleweight world champion, former 3-time light heavyweight world champion, and former heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trimmed with blue, official weight 175 pounds. His professional record stands at 23 victories, including 18 knockouts with only 3 losses. From Orlando, Florida, former 3-time light heavyweight world champion, the reigning, defending, universally recognized light heavyweight champion of the world, Antoniio Magic Man.
Chief seconds only. Fighter and chief second only. Gentlemen, this is a 12-round fight for the IBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. And I gave you the instructions. I want to remind you, this audience here to watch you fight, so keep it clean. Touch them up.
Roy Jones seems so tightly wound. You can't be sure whether he will explode or implode. That's what everybody is here to find out.
Jones looked at in the crowd before the opening bell was his buddy Michael Jordan. And Jordan stood up in the front row and clapped his hands emphatically and said, "Let's go." Now the action begins before nearly 21,000 fans in the arena. Emphatic affirmation that at least in Florida, the boxing public wanted to see the fight. Jones circling. Tarver looking to get started with his jab.
Yeah, right now, Roy is trying to keep the fight in the center of the ring. He's trying to get in a position to make one of those little, as he called it, chicken fight moves, and to catch Tarver unexpectedly, get the crowd to get all excited.
Keep doing. Watching here reminds us that in their first fight in November of 2003, Roy Jones scored heavily when in the middle of the ring and was hammered constantly against the ropes. At the end of the evening, Jones emerged with a very punch at a time. He didn't land many combinations in that fight.
About halfway through the first round, Roy Jones has not thrown a punch in earnest.
And getting off balance and setting there, keeping that distance of whatever Roy does do with one of those little flashy moves, he can always take a step back and keep him off balance. Watch, every time he sees Roy, see there, he's take that little step back and Roy can't get his rhythm to going.
Tarver knows very well that sooner or later he's likely to get his chance to take Jones to the ropes, where in their two fights he's been dominant. Jones bursts forward and finally throws 3 punches, landing one to the body. And they wrestle into the corner.
Break clean.
2 minutes back. Looks to return. Hard round to score. Fight. Jones misses a roundhouse right and a roundhouse left. And the phony war of round 1 comes to a close.
The only even light blows landed were by Tarver.
I thought...
Don't charge him when he's ready. Make him move his feet before you attack him. You understand? Try to press him a bit more. Make him move. You seen you get under one hook. He's trying to load up on him. Okay. All right? Stay tight. Nice and tight. Keep jabbing him here. Just keep touching him. Shoot the left hand here.
Jones's father is the only one who'll talk in the corner between rounds. Regular trainer Alton Merkerson, the man who's handled Jones through his last 14 years of his career, was outside the ropes and not a part of the discussion. Harold gives the first round to Tarver. CompuBox found Tarver landing 3 punches and Jones 2. Let's see if there's real combat in the second round. Jones with a single shot to the body. Still very reminiscent of what we saw in their first fight. Jones's best round against Tarver was the first round of the second fight, just before he was knocked out.
I think both guys are giving respect to each other. Well, one of the things that Roy's got still blazing speed, and but both guys are showing a lot of respect for each other.
Well, if Roy Jones doesn't want to get a hit on the chin, he's got the perfect game plan so far.
Stop! No punches, break lane. Oh, let's go.
Tarver's first attempted left-hand shot fell short.
Both guys are having problems hitting each other. Roy's having problems trying to get to Tarver also.
First time Jones found his back against the ropes, instantly he moved away. In their first fight, Tarver was frequently able to pin Jones against the ropes and strafe him with power punches. Jones landing a jab, not a weapon he's used all that much in his career, but he lands it and steps to the side. Now he lands a jab and follows with a right hand. Jones getting more aggressive, swings a big left hook in the middle of the round. Jones shaking his head as if to do commentary during the fight.
So far he's winning this round.
And Roy Jones didn't even try to fire back until he moved out of the corner.
Sable now. And that's the limit of Roy's, and he's almost in a position where he can't get hit hardly at all by Tarver.
Break, no punches, definitely.
Jones misses a wide swinging punch, grabs Tarver. Tarver clocks him a little bit inside. Referee Tommy Kimmons watching closely. Second round.
No, look here. Look here. Nice, stay nice, relax. Now stop shooting the left hand to the head. Go back to the chest. Shoot the jab at his chest. Okay. Keep him off balance. Okay. Get close to get. gotta just stay calm. You're the fighter. Sure they're gonna don't take to the pound, you on the pound. Just be raw, girl. You understand? Do the thing that it took to make you be raw again. The fighter you are, the man you are.
First real action of the fight. Jones driven to the ropes by an earlier punch from Tarver, who keeps wailing away.
I'm really kind of surprised and impressed that Antoniio Tarver seems to be handling Roy's speed very good.
Power shots in round 2 by CompuBox count. Tarver 8 out of 26, Jones 2 out of 12. Tarver quickly jumps ahead 2 rounds to nothing on Harold Letterman's card. He also won the first 2 rounds of the first fight between these 2 fighters.
When he saw that Roy was looked like taking the play and maybe winning that round, he stepped it up and did what he should.
McGirt saying concertedly between rounds, quit firing at his head, put your jab into his body, and fire your straight left hand at his chest as well. They want to be sure they make contact with Roy Jones, who can be very elusive because of his speed. Tarver showing the patience of a man who believes he has the advantages in the fight.
Fighting a very intelligent fight. He's not overcommitting himself, but he's keeping Roy where Roy can't do too much either.
Two good body shots for Jones before he moved away. Tarver has landed his jab a couple times in this round. Again, Tarver flicks the jab onto Jones's face. Now he fires it to the chest as McGirt, straight left hand. Jones managed to diminish the contact by turning away.
Ready to fight, he wants to fight, except he just hasn't been able to figure out the way to be effective in landing the punches where he could punch and get in and out.
Right hand while in training camp, but Antoniio Tarver said, hey, if you know the guy, you wouldn't expect him to come into the fight unless he was 100%. No evidence so far that Jones has a bad hand. Once again, Tarver gets into the ropes, and again, Tarver scores when he pins Jones back against the ropes. Once again, they come to the center of the ring, and Jones leaps forward and lands a single shot.
Yeah, Roy's having a pretty good round right here, but Antoniio senses, and that's why he's picking it up at the end.
Stay off the kidneys, stay off the kidneys. Work out of Roy.
One color in the center of the ring where Jones can shoot. Left hand landed for Tarver to punctuate the round.
Close round again.
Just remember, don't attack him when he's set for you. Make him move before you attack him. When you attack him, before you go in on him, make him move. And then attack him, all right? You gotta move to the left a little bit more with your jab. Flick with your jab, man. Flick with your jab.
Let it go. Short night. Take a nice deep breath. Okay, keep closing the gap a little more. But with the jab in here, look at me. The jab in here, don't worry about his head. Okay. Keep the defense tight.
CompuBox numbers in round 3. Tarver 10 out of 38. Jones 5 out of 22. Tarver landed 5 out of 26 jabs. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3-0, 30-27, Antoniio Tarver. Jim, if you ask me what I've learned so far, I've learned that Roy Jones Jr. circles beautifully to his right, comes back occasionally to his left, and doesn't let his hands go. Now, I hope he's starting right now, because so far, Tarver's doing all the fun.
In the center of the ring, after Tarver had landed one straight left hand to start the round off. Tarver going back to sticking his jab. Jones continues to play to the crowd. Although watching him play keep away like this, you tend to wonder why they love him so much.
Well, that's a good point, Jim. The thought was that maybe Roy Jones would be able to steal rounds, but if you're circling the ring like that for most of the time and trying these chicken moves, as he calls them.
Hard right hand by Jones. His best punch of the fight, and then another right hand to the chest of Tarver. And Jones is smiling as he rips Tarver to the middle of the belly with a right hand again.
Now, I thought the right hand to the head missed. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought the right hand to the body landed, but I thought the right...
I think Jones has found something here now. He thinks that he can start himself off by going to the body.
One thing Tarver said was very interesting in the meeting. He said, I'm prepared to take some blows if I have to, because I know Roy is fast and there's a good chance to hit me, but if I have to do that to make the fight rough and tough, I'm going to do that.
One question, move like that all night?
And they both are about the same age, but I think it's been a little bit more wear and tear on Roy Jones Jr.'s legs.
Well, he's had nearly twice as many fights. And significantly more rounds than Tarver in his career.
But it's interesting that up until the last 3 fights, neither one of them have been hit too much for the most part. They have a very good career as far as defensive skills is going.
Tarver did show courage in finishing a fight with Eric Harding with a broken jaw. Jones gets him with a good left in the middle of the ring. The best candidate so far. Certainly he's scored more. We're a third of the way through the fight.
With a hook, okay? So look at you got, listen, when he gets low, you get low with him. Okay. Because when you get low, he gets low, you punch him down. Okay. And he's coming out with the counter. Right. So when he gets low, you get low with him and put that stick out there. Okay. Come on, baby, stay focused.
You force him to change, he's gonna have to adapt. You know what I mean? You got him already, just keep him confused like that. Give me the top. Move in that direction. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to start moving to your left and sticking with your jab a little bit. You understand what I mean? No, you don't want to get stereotyped. You don't want to get to where you're being predictable. You understand? And the most important thing, when you see him loaded up, you're gonna see him set, make him move before you charge him. Step in the move and then charge. You understand?
Both fighters expected to make upwards of $5 million tonight. They aren't doing much to earn it so far.
CompuBox numbers on power shots in round 4. Tarver 8 out of 22. And Jones 11 out of 19. Harold Letterman gets Jones off the snide, giving him a round for the first time on the Letterman scorecard. But overall, CompuBox numbers in the fight favor Tarver.
But this is the way that Jones wanted the fight to go. About a knockout. If it happens, it happens. But they're trying to win a decision.
Good combination by Jones in the center of the ring. Tarver snaps him with a jab. Jones comes back and lands a right hand. Jones playing a kind of a head game with Tarver, chiding him, smiling at him, as if to say, oh, I'm far the superior fighter. And now a little showboating for Jones gets the crowd even more excited.
One thing is, Jones, as I've always acknowledged, and I think Tarver too, that he has more speed. But it's still, Tarver has that style that bothers him. And I think that if Tarver can land a good, clean shot, he'll turn it around because he can take a punch, I think, better than Roy, and that's a big difference.
Jones's shots were blocked there. Now Tarver goes back to his jab, gets Jones into a corner, hits him with 2 big left hands. Jones.
So far, Jones has slapped the underside of his foot, stuck out his tongue at Tarver, and they've had a few exchanges.
And what happens a lot when Roy throws that right hand of his, it looks very fast and flashy because of the speed, but Tarver avoids most of those by blocking or either bending his body to his left.
Jones trying to fight his way off the ropes for one of the first times in his 3 fights with Antoniio Tarver, and he gets it. Lands a right hand. Tarver misses over the top with a slow, lazy left.
Tarver looked like he's either confused or hurt.
Jones ducking the left, grinning. You would think from the look on Jones's face that he's pitching a shutout here. He's off the ropes, and has been the case previously. And with the uppercuts, he creates space.
Jones has often gone to the ropes to create offense. He hadn't done that before in either of the first 2 fights with Tarver.
That's 4 straight jabs, Tarver.
That's what I'm talking about. Give me that water, man. Give me that water. Yeah, as long as you keep them faint, good, Roy. As long as you keep faint, that's all going. And that side moving.
No, he's hooking to the body. Where's your hook at? Right. Come on, baby. You went too hard for this, man.
Tarver throws a combination of punches on the ropes. Perhaps one of them landed cleanly to the body. Later, Maybe Tarver expecting Jones not to punch back. Jones punches back effectively.
Jones had not used the uppercut at all in their first fight, and twice in that round he fought his way off the ropes, largely on the strength of that punch. So a new wrinkle for Jones. He wins another round. 18 out of 41 power shots for Jones in that round. Now Jones gets in another uppercut, but Tarver lands another left. Jones leaps off the ropes and lands. Jones is doing better than most would have expected.
That speed is still is a tremendous speed, but you know, it's one thing about it. I think that his speed is good. He's beating him, but he cannot afford to get hit with a solid blow.
And he just did. He caught a left hand, partially blocked, and catches another one. So Tarver got in 2 lefts there and drives Jones back into the corner with a partial land. Tarver's landing his jab here, just as he was at the end of the preceding round, and that sets up another left-hand attack. And now Jones is back on the defensive as he's been in the past, on the ropes against Tarver.
Working that little jab that he throws sometimes when Tarver jabs, Roy would throw a fast counter jab over top. I'm surprised he has quit doing that because he does it very effectively. But right now, Tarver's been able to be very effective with that slow, probing right jab of his.
He's being allowed to land it with impunity. Jones not countering with the left hook or the little jab over the top.
Every time that Tarver sees him coming forward, Tarver usually backs back and bends over to his left, which neutralizes the angle of Roy's right hand.
Straight right hand landed for Jones there. And he grins to let the judges know he landed it. Now another opportunity against the ropes. Tarver reaches and lands the left hand. Jones sticks out his tongue again. Tarver still landing his jab. Jones may be shaking his head, but the jab is landing. Those are short. They collide. And Tarver tells Tommy Kimmons, I think he tried to butt me.
Into Roy because of the flashy movement, but the actual punches landed are coming from Tarver.
He's clowning, you keep working. Okay? That's how you make a dog fight of it. You're not cut. There's nothing there. Nothing there. There's nothing there. Listen to me. You got to make it a dog fight with this guy. Okay? He don't want to fight. But if you sit there and let him bullshit, that's what he's going to do. Okay? Shoot the left hand to his chest. Don't worry about his head. He's doing all those moves. You close the gap now. Let's keep it tight, Antonio.
Ready for you, baby. Flick it. Flick it. You ain't trying to take too much to it. You don't want to push it. Let him get his head. You want to flick. Keep feigning. He'll show you what he's going to do. That's what causes confusion. He's going to get deaf.
A little bit of tongue action.
CompuBox numbers in 6. It was all Tarver. 14 out of 63, including 7 out of 31 jabs. Jones only threw 18 punches in the round, landing 6. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 4 rounds to 2, 58, 56, Antoniio Tarver. Jim, I thought Roy Jones went to 4 to 2. But I gotta tell you, when Roy Jones feints, I don't know, Antoniio Tarver gets defensive, he'll back up, he doesn't punch. Somehow or another, Roy can really freeze him in the middle of the ring by feinting him. The problem is, Roy don't punch after Tarver stops. 4 to 2, Tarver.
Roy delighted the crowd with some theatrical clowning after Tarver landed a body punch. The scoring was the body punch. And there's more scoring for Tarver right there.
I guess Roy thinks this is a vaudeville act.
Well, outside of that one round where when he was near the ropes over there and he landed the body shots and the uppercuts, he hasn't really did that much effectively. He has some beautiful moves, but he hasn't really been doing that much effectively in terms of landing punches.
over the top.
I think if Roy would be more busy and throw more punches, I think he could possibly win this fight, even by not very good. Looks very much more strong.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to engage. He doesn't want to stand in there and fight. He used to use his speed to intimidate his opponents. Now all he's doing is a lot of this punk junk.
Listen, if they gave points for shaking your head, he'd be way ahead in the fight.
I mean,
but they give points for leather on flesh. What about victory or defeat in your view?
I'm sure he'll think it is. Didn't become Roy Jones fans because he stuck his tongue out.
This is another non-scoring round for Jones.
Yeah, but I have to go to Tarver again. You know, both guys are having problems of sustaining a real solid attack, but Tarver is the busier fighter.
Boys in the back.
You got to step around to your left, all the way around, make the right side. After the angle, throw your punches back from the angle. My head again, son. Deep breath, give me a deep breath. See, he's getting kind of desperate now. My head again, son. All right, now you got to.
Now you're closing the gap, okay? Now you're doing your thing. But what you got to do, you got to keep it up.
Okay.
You can't give up nothing.
Okay.
All right, baby? You can't give up nothing, Antonio. All right, combination. Combination.
Punches by copybox count in the 7th round. 8 punches. Now Tarver gets him against the ropes again and lets his hands go again. Tarver landed the jab. Jones can't get close enough to land. Well, that's going to occasion something of a verbal civil war, I imagine, because the Jones passionate.
But he's not giving his fan.
The fighter blazing hand speed. Seemingly, after he visited Joe McClellan, he became extremely safety conscious. And then, I guess, following the 2 knockouts, Daniels would actually try to hurt an opponent now.
So do you think the real objective here, Emmanuel, is to fight Tarver and...
First, #1 priority, don't get knocked out. That's more important if I have to than even trying to win the fight in his mind he's looking at.
So he'd rather lose the fight and complain about the decision than actually...
I don't think he'll complain, but I think his main priority is just really worried about getting hit. Don't forget, this man knocked him out cold.
It's impossible for me to imagine. It's just very difficult for me to see that coming out of Jones's pride.
And his whole attack is basically trying to throw a right hand. Basically a right, that's all he tries to paw.
One at a time.
Right hand, no combinations of blazing hand speed.
Him some kind of a winner.
He's grinning and flinching and ducking to it all at the same time.
One thing's for certain. At this rate, Tarver can't lose because Jones isn't trying to hit him.
Roy Steele, I think if he would really open up and take that risk, he has the punching power. And
fight if you don't want to fight.
That's all he's going to throw is that one.
You got to take care of business. You got him in deep water. Look out, look out. You got to pick it up a little bit. You got to pick it up just a touch. You know what I mean? Don't take no chances. You know what I mean? You got to get busy. Look, as long as you roll to your left, go back to your left and hit to the body. Go back, step to the left, go right to the body. That works every time. You know what I mean? I'm talking right in
the around. Don't let him. Don't let him. Okay, don't let him. All right? Okay, baby, let's go now. Let's pick it up.
Nice deep breath, baby boy.
There's a long, tall needle who punctured the myth of Roy Jones with a one puncturing his own myth so far.
I think that Buddy McGregor is doing an excellent job in the corner. He's telling him everything to do that's right. And I was listening to a Big Roy telling Little Roy that step it up, but don't take any chances.
Step it up, but don't take any chances. That's exactly what he said. He said you need to be a little busier. How many times have we seen fathers refuse to tell their sons the truth? Seems to feel like everything's going pretty well. And it's not.
Yes, Tarver is stepping it up, making it more of a physical, rougher fight now. That's what he wanted to do, even though he's taking a chance on getting hit because he's not as coordinated as Roy is, but he's willing to take that gamble.
His last knockout win was in September of '92. a TKO of Clinton Woods.
That's a long time.
Excuse me, 92, not 2002. It feels like 92, but it was 2002, 3 years ago. Landing an uppercut from all the way out there shows you how fearless Tarver is.
Well, he's saying that he's realizing that Roy's going to do the same thing over and over. Do that little paw, get down in his little chicken fighting motion, and look for that one punch.
When's the last time Jones threw a legitimate combination?
And he could really out-jab Antonio with his feet if he wouldn't work it.
But the jab here tonight is all Tarver.
Well, you know,
lead to the left hook.
He's still facing the guy and looking at that big left hand all the time in his face that knocked him out cold. So it's still deep in his mind whether he wants to face or not. He's a little reluctant of running into that big power punch.
He's looking at a longer, stronger fighter with a better, more committed jab and some serious technical advantages. And he's not putting his own advantages to work.
Now, good right hand. That's the perfect right hand.
Great punch by Jones, one at a time.
I think it was the best punch of the fight.
One at a time.
Yeah, no combination.
Maybe he thinks one big punch can win the round. There he throws another jab. But when Tarver throws jabs, he doubles and triples. Tarver popping Jones with a little left, even in the center of the ring. Now Tarver backs up near the rope. Jones fires one more shot to end the round. 9 rounds in the book.
Make sure it seems like you're doing more work. Okay, I know you want to outbox him, but look, we got 9 minutes. Okay? Look at me, baby. 9 minutes. All right? Let's go.
You missed him on, he went on top of his head. He's the champ. Somewhere down the line, that's where they say he's the champ. Somewhere down the line, you're going to have to establish some points. Come here.
There was a straight right hand that Roy landed in that round.
It was the best punch of the fight, but still, I don't know if that was enough to win the round because that was the only punch he landed that round.
Harold Letterman will tell us in a second whether it was enough to sway him to give a round to Jones. The last 3 rounds, Jones is 7 out of 57 by CompuBox count. 7 out of 57 in 3 rounds. Tarver's 32 out of 160. Harold, how do you have it scored through 9?
Okay, Jim. 7 rounds to 2. 88, 83, Antoniio Tarver. Jim, this fight is basically over.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say this much. I don't think it's a problem of Roy's reflexes. Contrary to that, I think it's just a mental thing.
No, but he's not saying it's reflexes, Emmanuel. He's saying he's unwilling to take the risks because he didn't want to get hit.
Tarver lands 2 combinations. Jones answered with a single punch. In the first fight, Roy said he won because Tarver, quote, only fought 30 seconds of every round. Jones hadn't done that much here. Tarver 2 jabs, Jones with a right hand to the body. There's a good counter left by Jones, but again, 1 punch at a time. Some in the crowd are beginning to boo. Now there's a body shot by Jones. That shot blocked by Tarver's glove. Jones getting perilously close to the ropes again. You know what happens when he goes there, and there it is. Tarver landed the uppercut and the big left hand.
Yeah, they haven't made full contact, but Roy was rolling from those shots.
Making plenty of contact to score.
Yeah.
Tarver blocked the first shot. I didn't see whether the body shot actually landed. A combination by Jones and a sudden assault against the ropes.
I didn't really see much land at all, really, I'll be honest with you. Just that Tarver laid back into the ropes.
No, the big event was that Jones tried a combination.
Oh, good right hook by Tarver.
Absolutely. He backed Jones off for the right hook at the end of the round.
All right. That's a little bit better there. That's a little bit. Give me some Vaseline on this up here. That's a little bit better, son. You're using your head just a little bit better. Now you got to step up a little bit more, bro.
Can I do what?
You got to step up a little bit more. Start feinting the jam a little bit more. Get some water on his head. Come on, man. So I let that showmanship. This
want to fight. Don't you understand? Look at me, champion. 6 minutes, baby. Look at me. You got to stay busy. When you get him in the corner, put them arm movements on him. He's not going to commit. The only time he commits is when, look at me. Only time he commits is when you step back.
Appearances can be deceiving. Jones landed a couple of light body punches, and that was it.
Tarver wasn't using the best tech.
Audience like he was being hurt.
Sugar Ray Robinson famously said at the end of his career,
CompuBox numbers in 10 on power shots. Tarver 17 out of 54. Jones 10 out of 27. Buddy McGirt said, go be busy.
His punches seem to be much more sloppy and seem to be much more fatigue in his punches. He's working hard, but
Tarver looks tireder.
He looks tired. His punches are not as crisp as anything.
Roy Jones won the first fight.
Right hook.
He's badly stunned now, and he pursues it here in the 11th round.
And Antoniio is tired himself.
Jones is not throwing back.
And Antoniio should stand back and get one good clean power shot, but he looked like he's about to go down without even being hit himself.
Now he thinks Roy's playing possum.
No, Roy is dazed.
Tarver thinks he might be playing possum a little bit. That's why he backed off.
Antonio's leaving himself on him when he gets it because he's tired.
Most exciting round of their 3 fights. Tarver caught Jones with another shot.
Tarver like he's just totally shot. I mean, he can't even get his balance down enough to land 2 solid blows.
As Jones is blinking, trying to either get his focus back or clear his head.
Well, Tarver seems like he's just shot.
I agree with you. Tarver is tired.
He looks like he wants to quit. He's trying to fall out of the ring himself without even being hit.
Winning the fight going away, but suddenly wobbly-legged against Jones, and now he goes back to firing and snaps Jones' head up with an uppercut. This was almost a 10-8 round for Antonio Tarver. Now he's got to be careful down the stretch.
Well, the way it looks, there's a good chance Roy Jones is going to knock him out the next round.
Body shot lands for Jones. Tarver ducked the big right hand. We're into the last 10 seconds of the round. And Tarver gets out of the round okay, so does Jones. They were both harmed in that round. Tarver harmed Jones more.
Yeah, but Tarver didn't really get harmed. He just fell apart.
You don't understand me?
You gotta do is go back doing yourself now. Your head clear now, right? All right then. Go back. You just down. Don't sit down.
That was
Antonio Tarver has always felt like he was the groom to a famous celebrity who went unnoticed.
Box numbers at 11. Tarver 29 out of 82. Jones 9 out of 39. The 29 shots land looks stiff-legged and totally without energy here. Jones seemed done between rounds, but then revived in the last 10 seconds. What drama it would be if Roy Jones somehow pulled out a 12th round knockout here.
It would not.
In January of '99. Trying to get it with one straight right hand here.
Tarver should be doing something. He's got an expression on his face and his body rhythm is all.
While he hit Jones in the last round, he also hit the wall in terms of his stamina.
I agree, Roy, but it's fortunate that Roy is not still too aggressive. Roy is still too preoccupied with being defensive-minded, and that's what may let Tarver get through with this fight.
Somebody needs to tell Jones it's the 12th round. Tarver clocks him with a right hook over the top. It was a right hook that hurt Jones in the last round.
And Tarver seems to have gotten his mental and attitude back towards being aggressive again.
Once again, folded up the tent and stopped throwing punches. Inexplicable at this point in the fight.
I think this raises maybe the probability that Antoniio Tarver would have given Roy Jones all he could handle in the best day he ever had as a light heavyweight.
Because Roy still has got his reflexes to be in coordination. That is not diminished at all.
Low blow from Jones. Right hand to the chest by Jones. Tarver's just trying to make it out of the round. But he's done enough offensively to satisfy himself.
Yeah, Roy should definitely take a risk. He's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Should let it all hang out.
It's just not in him, it appears, Emmanuel.
On the 30th anniversary of the Frazier, but in a way that could provide an answer as to who.
Great light heavyweights, Bob Foster, Matthew Saad Muhammad.
Well, but that's not the issue tonight. You know, the issue was he wanted to beat Roy Jones. You know, the rest of that is for another day.
Harold Letterman's card you saw right there, 116-112. He gave the 12th round to Jones, which narrowed the margin to 4 points. Let's take a look now at the 3 judges who will officially score the fight. Paul Herman from here in Florida, not nationally known, not a big name judge, had Shane Mosley ahead of John Trematera, also from here in Florida, not nationally known, not a big name judge. Had Mayweather beating Hernandez 119-109 through 12, not a difficult sport to come to.
Great job. Great receipt.
Emmanuel Stewart having a conversation with Buddy McGirt, who rode his fighter like a jockey down the stretch. Maybe didn't get as much out of him as he might have wanted, but appeared, at least to our eyes, to get a clear victory for Tarver.
116-112. Peter Trematera, 117-111, all to the winner by unanimous decision. And still universally recognized the light heavyweight champion of the world, Antoniio Magic Man Tarver.
Well scored, all credit to the judges.
Good scoring.
Good decision, solid scoring, just what you wanted to see. Just still smiling after having lost again for the second time in 3 fights against Antoniio Tarver. Roy Jones has now lost his last 3 fights. Final CompuBox numbers. Antoniio Tarver landing 73 more in total and throwing, look at that, 300 more punches. That's an average of 25 more punches per round thrown by Tarver. How can you win a fight against that? Power punches, Tarver landing 33 more and throwing 134 more. Jones landed a higher percentage with his power punches, but seldom threw more than 1 at a time. Larry Merchant stands by with the light heavyweight champion of the world, Antoniio Tarver.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations. Antonio, were you surprised at how little resistance Roy Jones put up?
Well, believe it or not, there was a lot of resistance. He was just real crafty. Like I said, I'm glad we prepared for everything. I mean, Roy was sharp tonight, and he didn't surprise me.
You can't be serious saying
so
he is sharp. He went rounds with hardly throwing punches.
You know what? But you're playing chess all the while, Larry. It's a chess match in there. One mistake, and I'm checkmate.
Okay, so are you saying that he was so concerned with your left hand and what it did to him the last time, he was afraid to fire?
You know, he wasn't afraid. Larry, get a man credit. What credit is due. The man came with his best game. He was best by a better fighter. Well, period.
Okay, but
that's it. No,
so why can't you say?
What you mean? He fought his ass off. So did I.
Why can't you say?
Thank you. Give me my credit.
At the end of the night, in the 11th round, you hurt him badly. You seemed to, however, to run out of a little gas while you did it.
No, I didn't run out of gas, Larry, but the guy had resilience tonight. He was in great shape to do my homework. I had to go to school, and we passed the test with flying colors, baby.
All
Tampa
right,
in the house.
Let's take a look at the 11th round and what happened.
The right hook. You thought the left hand was coming, but that was that check left.
Fight gave you incentive to go out there and still try to win the last round.
Larry, you know what? I just did the best that I could. I feel I beat Roy a lot better, a lot worse than I did the first time. I mean, the first time, he took more of a punishment than tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Way to go, Roy.
Yeah, good fight, man.
All right, champ.
Good job. Well done.
Height, man. Height.
Back.
That's all right. He good.
You wanted to show the world who you were, but who you are seemed a long way from who you were.
And who I am now seems a long, long way from who I was. But you know what? God is good. You know, it's like my whole thing was to come back and show that I'm not going. I mean, you know, it's like when you reign for so long, it's hard. It's hard to just take going out like I did last 2 times that easy. So I couldn't go out like that. You know what I mean? I had to come back and go out better.
Is he got the kind of style that always would have been trouble for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He always had a style that's going to be trouble for you because he's tall and he's left-handed. You understand where I'm coming from? That's going to always be a problem. But the thing is, honestly, to beat a fight like that sometimes, you got to get down and get gritty and be willing to chase him like Glenn Johnson does. And that's not really my style, you know where I'm coming from? So, you know, I know that I did what I could. I boxed him. Pensacola still in the house. I'm a true champion. I've been what I've been. I held my own for a long time. And, you know, it's like I'm not ashamed of my effort because I gave effort tonight.
Is it fair to say we won't see Roy Jones in the ring anymore, but we will see him at ringside?
Well, you're going to see me at ringside for sure. Being the champion that I am, I don't know. You might see me back. I don't know. I have to see, man. You know, it's like I felt good during training. I just don't feel like I had the urge to come out and go at it. I ain't had a hunger still, you know where I'm coming from? I was good, but I just didn't put out enough. That's all.
Thank you very much, Roy. Appreciate your candor.
HBO, and thank HBO for always doing what they do. They've been here to support me in everything I've done. Thank Pensacola for representing. Thank Mobile. Thank everybody on the Gulf Coast. And I gave them my all, you know?
Jim?
At the end of what was in some ways a strange event, Emanuel Stewart, Jones, if anything, seems more satisfied and happier with what took place than Tarver, who still doesn't seem to think he's getting his due. And watching the weird psychology between these two guys, the seemingly tortured relationship they have, I have to hope, for both their sakes, that they're finished with each other.
Yeah, it was interesting fights, but there really wasn't that much super drama in either one. It was fight against Shield. It would not surprise me. He really had so much fun in training, and the fact that he loved this excitement, as he said himself, it's intoxicating.
I think we can be assured of that. I was thinking of this as a kind of a poker game. Roy Jones had accumulated stacks and stacks and stacks of chips over the years, but Antonio Tarver had the best hole cards, the best draw, and he won the fight. Sometimes what you did all your life doesn't matter in the moment. And tonight, he fought an old man's fight. He was afraid to really let it go, even as he somehow admitted. But if he's satisfied with what he did, and here.
All right, Jim, our thanks to you and to Emanuel and to Larry. As Larry Merchant asserted and as Roy Jones Jr. candidly acknowledged, on the best day of the career of one of the best fighters who ever lived, Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver would have given him all he could handle.
Maybe. I saw the same fight that Antonio Tarver and Roy Jones saw. I saw a fighter whose legs were not nearly the same as they used to be, whose hand speed, while still good, was not Antonio Tarver. One of the guys who knocked him out and made it a very interesting fight through 6 rounds, through half the fight, and walked through fire late in the fight to survive. Now, he didn't pull it out like Sugar Ray Leonard did against Thomas Hearns in their first fight. But Sugar Ray Leonard was 25. Roy Jones is 36.
Well, Roy Jones seems more than satisfied with the assessment that you just offered. The fight was not close. 116-112 on 2 cards, 117-111 on another. But he seemed to take great satisfaction from the fact that the last image of him, if this is the last competitive image, is not of him flat on his back, but of him doing what he could against a very fine fighter.
Look at what Muhammad Ali did at the same age as Roy Jones against Leon Spinks, who is not nearly the fighter that Antonio Tarver is. Muhammad Ali was able to just stick and move and tie him up and really stink it out, Roy Jones, and yet it was good enough to make it an interesting fight against one of the best fighters in the world.
All right, allowing for all of that, Tarver appeared spent toward the end. He could not put Jones away when he had him on the ropes, literally and figuratively, in the 11th. All right, now, Jones knows his only chance to win the fight is to knock him out, and yet he does not throw all caution to the winds in the 12th round, and as Larry said, it may just not be in him. Now, or then maybe not just in him to fight that way?
I don't know, because he, again, walked through fire in that 11th round. I thought it was a 10-8 round for Antonio. I thought Roy was knocked out for sure. He took so many shots and even came back in that round, sort of like Holyfield did against Bo in 92, to throw some punches of his own, though he didn't hurt Tarver. Tarver was really fatigued. Roy has been the victim of his own dominance in this instance also. He'd never been in dogfights. He never had to dig out tough wins. He did it once against Antonio in their first fight. He was knocked out in the rematch, and so he was reluctant to really pull the trigger here.
All right, you talk about tactics throughout the fight, but they were in the 12th round. I'm not saying it could have been done, but it was the only way. It was the only way that he had a chance.
Would I have liked to see?
Interesting, to say the least. Max, thank you. Tarver versus Jones 3 has been brought to you by HBO Pay-Per-View, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. And a special announcement from the American Red Cross to help victims of Hurricane Katrina. Call 1-800-HELP-NOW or log on to redcross.org. We'd like to thank our internet partners and the following magazine partners. And so, for our entire crew, for Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, Emmanuel Stewart and Max Kellerman, this is Bob Costas saying so long